Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. It was a blustery week. You guys made it. You're the brave ones. If you are at home, we're really appreciative that you're safe and warm at home. And we are all in one piece as people are coming in. This is the week where we earn, or this is the month really, that we earn our stripes as Western New Yorkers. I would say we're the only ones in the United States that are going through this, or North America, but I heard in Toronto they had the snowiest, February that they've ever had. I was talking to someone in Texas and they told me it was 14 degrees down there. The only place it seems to be pretty good is Florida. Todd keeps saying there's 78 degrees. I guess it depends. Florida's a big state. Well, we are going to be having, I guess, a more traditional service. Harvey Horowitz I'm so glad for him to join me, and thankfully to have his wisdom all these years I've been in Buffalo. And we are going to begin with a prayer that often was done when I first came here, Yedid Nefesh, which is actually a love song to God. It's on page 128. And if you looked at all four of the verses, you would see the tetragrammaton. So you'd have Yud He Vav He. So it's just it's a beautiful love song about kind of like L'Chad Odi, how when we come, with the Jewish people and Shabbat and God, we have kind of a loving relationship, and that's the way the prayer expresses. Yedid Nefesh, my beloved soul. So we're singing to that and as a way of singing to God. So again, page 128.
Oh, welcome to join in.
Yes.
Yedid Nefesh Av HaRachaman, Yedid Nefesh Av HaRachaman, Meshoch Avdecha El Ritzonecha, Meshoch Avdecha Lai El Ritzonecha Yarut Avdecha Kemo Ayal Yishtachaveh El Muhadarecha Yarut Yishtachaveh El Muhadarecha.
I kind of feel like with that song, it's like putting on the fire. We're putting on the fireplace. It just kind of warms you. We're going to bring up Bruce Chorus, who, instead of a red kippah, you have a kippah that matches your sweater. And we gave you 5 microphones, 4 to the side. You can use mine or any of them, actually.
I'll go from mic to mic. But no, I'll keep it brief, though. Okay. Anyway, it's good to see everyone. Shabbat Shalom. In case you were wondering, the young professionals are down at the other end of the building. They're having their Shabbat dinner. It's getting started right about now. So the building is a little divided. Young professionals, old farts. And I'm proud to be in that group.
Speak to yourself.
I'm proud to be in that group. Anyway, so it's nice to have the young people in the building enjoying Shabbat at our facility. And it's nice for us to be together. It's a little bit of an intimate gathering. I hope that the email and the phone call didn't scare people away, because we just wanted to make sure everyone knew that it's winter, it's cold, it's snowy, it's icy, and we plow and we salt, and even if we do, there's going to be some slippery spots. And then there are going to be people that are just going to choose to stay home. And that's okay. That's why we have the stream for you, because it is a long winter. And Sometimes it's just difficult to get out and be here with us in the building, and that's okay. Spring will be here eventually. The snow will melt by June, I think. So anyway, we'll all be together again. And in the meantime, let's enjoy the service tonight. Harvey's a few octaves lower than the cantor, but it'll sound lovely nonetheless. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Bruce, as always, for welcoming us in. Last night we had our Buffalo Corner Reading Series, which Ganilla Kester organizes, and she does I love listening to her read poetry. And at the beginning, she opened with one for this week, one from Emily Dickinson that I wanted to read. I'm sure it's all familiar to you, but it was so beautiful in this moment. It's hope. Hope is the thing with feathers. I wanted to bring her influence into our service tonight as well. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. It's always nice. I love her poetry, and she had no idea that people would be reading her poems, all these years, centuries, really, later. We are going to turn to candle lighting, another way of warming us up here spiritually, page 120. And Jeffrey over here is going to, all the way from, Lockport. And Lockport, yeah. So he was willing to brave the wind and the snow all the way from Lockport, which, that's far. That's pretty far.
Trisha's from Middleport. That's even farther.
Oh my gosh. I promised him he only had to light the candles, so we'll say the prayers.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And Jeffrey, if you'd like to lift up the Kiddush cup, we're going to turn to page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta Yotanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim V'shabbat kodshecha B'yahava uveratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Trish says, no. Good. A good glass of wine, which is nice. We are going to turn to page 123, and let's read together at the top of the page, "We enter this sanctuary." We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, and flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. You know, I don't think we've ever read that. I don't think I've ever actually read that one collectively as a group, so it actually was very nice reading. Let's turn to L'Chadodi, page 138 and 139. We are going to sing the first, second, fifth, and ninth verses. On the ninth verse, we rise, we face the doorway as Shabbat, the Shabbat bride, traditionally comes into our room. We bow to the bride, and then we welcome one another by waving.
Lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Ishmi'anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem u'letiferet v'litila Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabelatu Likrat Shabbat Lechu v'nelcha Ki mekor habaracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh machshava techila Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabla. Again. Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabla.
Verse 5.
Hidoreri, kiva orech kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabla, lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabla. Boi v'shalom ateret pala, gam besimcha u'betzohala, toch emunei am segula,
Boi kala, boi cha. We welcome one another.
lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabla, lecha
dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat
nekabla.
We remain standing for our call of community, page 146. I'm so glad the McNamara's, you were representing Shabbat. You couldn't have had better timing. You walked in and I saw Shabbat. It was the Shabbat bride was here. It was wonderful. Again, page 146. Look around. Every single time we come together on a Friday night, we have a different group of people. And that's actually wonderful. We never know what friends we'll find here and who we'll meet and who's a newcomer and who's not. But it's really wonderful, our spiritual community, just to be together, especially in cold times. Again, 146.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Let's turn to page 148 and we'll read together in the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro mariv aravim b'chochma poteach sharim uvetuna mishaneh itim umachalif et hazmanim umesader lakokavim b'mishmeroteim b'rkia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshek v'choshek mipnei or, umavir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai svod shamo, el chai v'chayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hamariv aravim. Page 150, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael, Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu u'v'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla b'yahavatecha. Al tasir mimenu liolamim. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shmo.
Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Amen. Page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We turn to the V'ahavta, page 154.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinanatam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'od al yadecha והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's turn to page 157. As we were thinking about tonight's service, we were imagining all these young professionals, but Eliza told me they're down there eating their dinner. I was thinking a very idealistic prayer at the top, 157, would be perfect. And it really is about how the end of the story isn't crossing the sea. That's actually the beginning of the story. And that we're always kind of in the wilderness. Let's read this mantra together. I think it will speak to us, particularly in this time. Standing on the parted shore of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Amen. Page 158, we turn to the Mi Chamocha at the top there.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. No ra tehilot osei fele, no ra tehilot osei fele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, בוקי הים, לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael.
Blessed is the Redeemer of Israel. Page 161 at the top. Let's read together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lay down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. I invite you to rise at this time. We're going to do the beginning of the Amidah, starting on 164 out loud, and we'll continue through then silently afterwards.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
On the next page.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח מוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, תומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue with our private prayers silently through page 180. You may be seated whenever you're ready. Continue with our prayer for peace, page 180.
עושה שלום במרמיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
V'al kol yoshvei tevel. That prayer for peace, it never gets old. We always need that peace. No matter what we're doing, whatever melody you do, it always resounds. It always, at least, aspires us towards that. We're going to turn to our healing blessing, page 371, the Mishaberach. And I'm going to read our list of names. We'll go around. If you have others you want to say, just feel free to raise your hand and we'll go around. We're thinking as a community about Paula Ames, Hope Bongiorno, Sandy Canty, David Cohen, Evan Dennis, Chris Donner, Stephen Glick, Carolyn and Ernie Grosser, Charlotte Hammond, Suzanne Lefcourt Harris, Pam Huber, Wilmer Iggers, Kenny Jackson, Alex Katz, Ken Kellick, Granger Hugh Kelly, Marilyn, Tony Rinsberg and baby Maddie, Larry Kerman, Renee Klein, Remy Levine, Miles Levy, Joe Morris, Kenzie Mai, Gail Lewis, Jeff Pratt, Angela Robillard, Cheryl Rossi, Cindy Rotella, Sarah Korn Rothschild, Brandon Ryan, Remy Schoenwetter, Carol Silverman, Lorenzo Stewart, Andrew Sutherland, Enjo Tufts, Jen Ursaner, Renata and Wolfgang Toll, Maria Vagarosi, Mary Weiss, Mike Wheeler, Celeste Zachrist, Lauren Zefel, Carla Bat-Chana, Yosef Ben Zissel, Chana Ezra Ben Shul, and Shmuel Ben Bulig. If you have other names, just raise your hand.
Batami Bachilamit and Sheldon Cohen.
Bring all those names into our hearts as we sing the Mishaberach 371.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
A complete healing of body and soul. May our prayers go out to wherever they're needed in this room and outside this room, and we say Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
First of all, what a pleasure it is to be here and again to learn and to be able to sing together with Harvey. Cantor is away and to a wonderful environment. I'm so glad that she has a chance. It was a busy couple of weeks and nice for her to just kind of relax, I think, with her family. This has been a terrible week. How many of you have been following the news? Yeah. It's a terrible week. We had learned about Aryeh and Kfir and Shiri Abibas, and the terrible kind of tragedy that we didn't know if they're alive. 500 days, we were praying and hoping. As Ganila Kester said at our Buffalo Corner reading series, that our hope was broken. We lost hope. And then the terrible seeing that the remains were not even the remains, that Sherry's remains were mixed in together. It was just heartbreaking, excruciating, and it also maybe made us lose hope in humanity. When you see that darkness, how can human beings behave like that for one another? And it takes a little bit of us away. And I kind of want to talk about that through our Torah portion today. But first, I think each time that we have those kind of moments when we hear, whether it's in our own lives or out in the world, and we hear about cruelty and the way it steals our belief, it steals our hope, it steals our humanity. We also are countered by that the countless acts of kindness. And I always think kindness is so much bigger than cruelty, that there's so much more kindness in this world, I have to believe, than there is cruelty. And I am personally witness to so many more acts of kindness during this time as we're all caring for each other because the weather is just terrible. It also gives a lot of opportunities for kindness, right? My neighbor calls me up yesterday and says, "Help, my car is stuck. You've probably been there before, right? How many of you have had a car stuck in the snow? It's not the kind of thing that you can do by yourself. When the car is stuck in the snow, unless maybe you're Arnold Schwarzenegger, you need help from others. So my neighbor called me up, and I don't know how good I am, but at least I'm younger than my neighbor, and I can help him shovel a little bit. And we're getting at it. We're going back and forth and trying the best we can. And another neighbor shows up. This one actually knows what he was doing. My Sikh neighbor, Sonny, and he has one of those, trucks, big trucks, and he comes out with this. I don't even know what it was like a metal thing that you can actually go under the car and scrape. It was so much better than a shovel, like some kind of scraper. And voila, it freed up. There's nothing better than that feeling, because you're stuck. And then all of a sudden it breaks free. And it feels like we have a connection. Maybe we don't always, as neighbors and community, we don't always see each other. We don't always have a chance to help. Maybe we don't want to be a burden on others. But in those moments, that is where community is created. We can think of so many. The blizzard of 22 in December of 22, when we were out there trying to check the vents of our neighbors to make sure that they're okay, make sure they got food, make sure there's time. I know Sheila's been she's been sharing with me her pain. She's so worried in this time, like we all are, of all those people that are homebound, all those people that don't have people. And I see them all the time when I walk in the hospitals or out in the streets or in our community, that not everyone has a someone. Not everyone has people that they can call. We need to all be on the lookout, because that's our role. As I was reading through the portion this week, I was struck by a line that I had never seen before. You read the Torah over and over again, and you think, well, I know it. I'm a rabbi. I've studied this. It's part of me. I should know. And we're in Exodus, which is one of the most familiar stories. We're in the section on laws, Mishpatim. So maybe it's because it's a whole list of laws that I kind of lost track of this one. But there is one that is so important about how we care for each other and how we think and imagine God. God in the Torah often I find to be, we know God gets very jealous in the Torah, very angry. God is kind of like that parent that's always saying, you should have done better. What are you doing? That's sort of God's role in the Torah. But on occasion, there's a softness to God. We see that softness when Moses asked to see God's Spirit, and God's Spirit comes in front of Moses. We see that it comes out very rarely. And I was shocked to see it in a verse here in Mishpatim. It says, and it starts chapter 22, starting with verse 25. If you take your neighbor's garment in pledge, you must return it before the sun sets. Okay, that makes sense. You've lent your neighbor something, and so as a consequence, you've taken their garment. Then it says, it is the only available clothing to this person has. It is what covers the skin, even the choice of words. This is a person who is completely exposed in order to do whatever they're doing, whatever they ask to lend. In what else shall your neighbor sleep? What a question. Think about your neighbor. Yes, you've lent him. Maybe he hasn't returned what it is that you need. But you have his shirt. You have his clothing. He's exposed to the elements. Therefore, if that and this is the most powerful line in verse 26. Therefore, if that person cries out to me, I will pay heed, for I am compassionate. I've never saw God at any point in the Torah, in any point of our tradition, say it in this way: I am compassionate. The word in Hebrew, ani, el rach, sorry, we know that one, I was going to get to that. Ki chanun anin, chanun. I am compassionate. And we know that word chanun, I was going to say, from the 13 attributes when God's Spirit goes in front of Moses. And we say, el rachum v'chanum. This whole list, I am compassionate. But to say it just not to Moses, but to all of us. There's so few occasions, I could only think of 2 other occasions in Torah, where God shows that sort of compassion, that God's heart is going out to us. I could think of it when we were enslaved in Egypt and we're calling out, and God said, I heard the cry. I heard the cries of the Egyptians. And actually, in one of the more powerful stories in Genesis, where Ishmael, Hagar has put her son down, and the angel comes out and says that he heard the cries of the baby. There's something that's so human in this, but it's a wonderful teaching moment, this ki chanun ani. You need to be compassionate, because I'm compassionate. This is the role of human beings: kindness, empathy, love, to take care of each other. In such a simple thing, you might think that you're aggrieved. This person didn't pay you what you need, but you have their shirt. You have their clothing. You have what they need. No matter how aggrieved you are, no matter how much they owe you, nothing is worth that type of suffering. There's something deep within our human spirit that tells us this is not just about God. This is about us as human beings. It breaks our heart to see what was going on, to hear about these tales of these little kids, the Bebis, these 2 kids. One was 9 months, one was 3 at the time of October 7th. That how could this be? And to know how they were killed brutally, to know that human beings could do that. How could that be? How can we square the sense that we would go out and help our neighbor out of the snow, that we would do it even at our own expense? You know, at that blizzard of 22, think of how many people risked their own lives to save someone else, that they often strangers. How can we do that? How can we square it? And I think when you think about that hatred, the fact that we can turn humans into something that is not human, that what was ever happening, maybe these people in another life, in another time, in another age would be compassionate to one another. But in that moment, in this time, in this year, in this terrible saga that we're in, they showed the ultimate cruelty. They took a piece of God from us. They took our hope. And I have to say, I'm so grateful for these words from thousands of years ago to restore it to me. If God can show that Chanum, if God proudly says, I am compassionate, you are not to do that. That's what we want to hear. And we can't always hear that from God. We can look in tradition to hear that, but we can hear that from one another. So what can we do? Each time we hear, we experience, we see these, go out and do good deeds. That is our duty. I was reading about different types of empathy and compassion. And the top of the list is behavior. Go out and do something. That not only do we feel for the other intellectually, not only do we see the other suffering, but we're willing to do what we can to help alleviate the suffering. May our hearts never turn black. May they never be robbed, no matter what happens in this world, of our humanity. Don't let anyone take that from us. We deserve better for ourselves, and we hear it in our tradition from thousands of years ago. I'm going to switch gears to another thing that's very important, which is kind of connected, because it's connected to Israel. And it has to do with something that comes around every 5 years. And it's a Jewish duty and a wonderful thing that probably most of you are never familiar with, and some of you probably are. But it is something that was set up in 1897, and it is a Jewish vote. I'm going to bring Howard and Karen, or Howard up here, representing. They've been working very hard because we have a vote coming up very soon.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for letting me have a couple minutes of your time. Bruce, I promise I won't steal any of your time. Karen, my wife, and I were tasked by Rabbi Alex to get the vote out for the World Zionist Congress. So naturally the question is, what is the World Zionist Congress and why should we vote? Well, the World Zionist Congress was established in 1897 and is the governing body that determines the policies of the World Zionist Congress, WZC, and the Jewish Agency. This includes the allocation of funds to programs and institutions in Israel. Elections are held every 5 years, and the representatives serve for the term of 5 years. And the funds that they distribute are not insubstantial. They distribute $1 billion a year. This year, the vote is pivotal. The voices of activism by the Reformed Jewish community in North America have never been more critical. We're up against motivated and disciplined opponents whose vision for the future of Israel is dramatically opposed to ours. Right-wing religious fundamentalists are organizing against us with plans to roll back all the issues that we care about, to chip away at Israel's democracy, roll back gains for LGBTQ rights, gender equality, and religious pluralism. They want to strip the Israeli Reform clergy and communities of their rights, fundings, and infrastructure. They want to make sure that Reform converts and the children of Reform converts are not welcome in the state of Israel. They want to block any hope of Palestinian self-determination and safety. Quite honestly, they want to write the next chapter of Jewish history, and they want to write us out of it.
I have a question. What can you do about it?
Oh, he's
Well, this is what I'm here for. Our values of pursuing justice demand that we cannot let this happen. So we're organizing and mobilizing to ensure that they do not succeed. So what we're going to do is we're going to vote for our slate, for the candidates for the WCZ, the World Zionist Congress, that will represent our values. So voting can be done by ballots or online. The ballots will be available at Temple. To be eligible to vote, you have to be at least 18 years old, and you have to self-identify as being Jewish. You can also be in the process of a conversion. The Reform movement is advocating that you cast your vote for the Association of Reform Zionists of America, also called ARTZA. So Karen and I will be in the ONEG afterwards if you have questions, and I thank you for your attention. Yes, oh.
So thank you, Howard. Appreciate it. They're going to be heading down south, so we're making sure that the vote starts on the 10th, March 10th, but you can pre-register, and there is a QR code just to link, so you don't forget. And we have until May 4th, so it's about 7-8 weeks or so. Yeah, well, it's going to be in the March newsletter, so you'll see, and we'll send a notice out on email as well. We're trying to get at least 100 votes. It's just $5. It should just take a few minutes. The Arsa is the third option. And we're trying to get like 100,000 more votes. It does matter. It's, as Howard said, it's a significant amount of money. But also, we want our voice represented. And they do a lot of wonderful things with this $1 billion. And this is a really special thing. How many of you have voted in the World Zionist Congress in the past? Yeah, and it's so cool. Anywhere you are in the world, every 5 years, it's the coolest thing. Who knew? It's a special thing. Forgetting all the things that Howard said, it's just, I think it's like it's something so unique. And anyone, I didn't even know this until this time, anyone who just says they're Jewish and 18 years old counts. So that's pretty much, except for Ayla over there, that's pretty much everyone in this room here.
What if she says she's 18?
Yeah, well, they don't have a way of checking, but we don't encourage that duplicity because we don't want duplicity on the other end too. So I have a sample ballot, so you can see there will be paper ballots as well that we can send in. Karen and Howard have ordered 100 ballots, so if you don't feel you're not computer literate or you don't want to do it on your phone, it's also not that hard. You'll just fill it out this way, and cool. Do your Jewish duty. It's really cool. It's always like every 5 years I think, oh my God, it's that time again. So really, and thank you, Howard and Karen have put in a lot of work already in this, and we're gonna get this. I told them because they're gonna be away. We're gonna get these 100 votes for them, so we don't let them down as well. Okay, we are ready for the end of our service, and we're turning now to Aleinu, which is on page 500. Oh, actually, before we do this, let's turn to a prayer for our country, page 376. Let's read the very bottom where it says, O guardian. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. And we'll do our prayer for Israel too, which is, one second. Oh, it's on the next page. On the next page where it says, O Heavenly One. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all those who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fulfill of joy all who dwell there. And we say, Amen. All right, now we're ready to rise for Aleinu, page 586.
לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 591. Emar v'haya
Adonai למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
may be seated. We turn to our mourner's cottage, page 598. So we will include the bebop. So we'll include Oded, Shiri, Ariel, and Kfir as well. The Bebas family, as well as Oded, who is the oldest of the hostages. We are also thinking as a community, Anthony Lagalbo. That means God's calling there. See? Lorraine Medwin, Karen Nyman, Elaine Weinstein, and Elaine Zeev, who died in the last month. On our yard site list from years past, Abraham Ackerman, Jose Ash, Diane Hurwitz Baumler, Marcia Jo Billick, Sophie Brockman, Dorothy Brockman Fratini, Bruce Bronstein, Dorothea Brooks, Charlotte Bush, Joel Kamai, David Campbell, Joel Caviar, Harry N. Faxstein, Laura Feldman, Pesach Finkel, Jack Fried, Martin Friedlander, Ernest William Gordon, Dora Hecht Weiss, Tilly Horowitz, Alex Jaffe, Dorothy Clampert, Richard Nightinger, Ruth Krause, James Lackner, Rebecca Margolis, Gloria Massimo, Milton Cookie Matza, Clarice Mendelovici, Sylvia Nadeau, Isaac Ostreicher, Bernard Painter, Paul E. Phillips, Bernard Pleskow, Donna Reisman Smith, Mildred Rubin, Hannah Seitz, Sophia Small, Samuel Spark, Raymond Strauss, Joseph Schwartz, Nancy Taylor, Vincy Vizzi, and Harry Weil. If there's other names, just raise your hand.
Paul Pearson and Harry
Fanny and Louis Rothman.
All those whose custom it is to rise, page 598. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, B'yalma, Divrach, Hirutei, B'yamlik, Malchutei, B'chayachon, B'yamachon, B'chayei, Dechol Beit Yisrael, B'agalav, Yisman, Kariv, Yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, V'orach, Le'olam Ome'amaya. Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpahar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh. Dar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei kudusha b'rechu leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ran v'yalma v'yimru amen yehi shlamar avamin shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen oseh shalom b'romav huya oseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yeshvei tevel v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. And we say, Amen. You may be seated. Zikranam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. I'd like to bring up Bruce Chorus again. Choose your mic.
I'm going to use yours.
Please.
Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. It's been brought to my attention that last week's announcements were a bit long, so I just wanted to apologize on behalf of Julia, because it was her fault. But we'll be better moving forward, right, Julia? We both promise.
I didn't send any this week.
Oh, then we'll be fine. Thank you to Rabbi Alex and guest vocalist Harvey Horowitz for a really nice, warm service on this very cold night. And thank you to Sheila Bernard Tucker for serving as our greeter. And thank you to Howard and Karen thank you, Howard, for coming up and filling us in on the vote, and for the two of you for heading up this really, really important effort. As Howard said, look for an email. It's got a QR code in it. I think there's flyers outside the office. And Rabbi said he's got some ballots as well. So
They're coming.
they're coming. They will be coming. So we've got time. It starts March 10th and goes until May 4th. So let's make sure that we meet our goal at this temple. Tomorrow morning, we have Torah study. It is at 9 o'clock. It is at Temple Beth Tzedek, also via their Zoom. The Shabbat morning service and Kiddush luncheon is at 10:45, also at Temple Beth Tzedek. There is no community religious school on Sunday. Schools are on winter break. Because there is no religious school Sunday morning, the Purim Spiel rehearsal will be Sunday morning. It is at 9:30 instead of our usual 11:45. If anyone is still interested in joining the cast, please do so. We still have spots for people. And if you know of any kids that would like to be in it, let us know, because we could use munchkins. Right now, I mean, Robert Altman is one of our munchkins, and the guy is a moose. So we need littler munchkins. Anyway, thank you to Eliza Berger, Mike Schwartz, and One Table for hosting our Young Professionals dinner, Shabbat dinner, down at the other end of the building. I was talking to Eliza beforehand, and they had a really nice turnout tonight. I think she was expecting between 20 and 30 people. So very nice to have young professionals, young Jewish professionals in our building celebrating Shabbat here. Rabbi Alex and Pastor Bill Hennessy will be at our temple this Wednesday, 11 a.m., for their session. It is called, the theme is Loving Your Enemy as Yourself. And whenever Rabbi Alex and Pastor Hennessy get together, it's really interesting and informative. So that's this Wednesday, I should say. Speaking of the rabbi, he will be back Sunday, March 23rd for Resetting the Table. So that's the rabbi and a local pastor, and it's a group of people getting together to discuss a controversial topic. And you never know what that topic might be, but it's always a really interesting discussion. And that's Sunday, March 23rd, and that's at 1 o'clock, and it is at the Spot Coffee on Transit Road in Williamsville. Thank you for doing that. I will mention that Julia does have a couple quick things. She's already starting to work on the reusable tote bags for the Thanksgiving Baskets project, and she could use some help with that. That's going to take time. They're going to start in April. And then she is heading up our stage crew efforts for the Purim Spiel. We have no budget. We have Julia. So if anyone would like to help her with the stage, with the sets, please do so. We have an Earth Day event coming up in April. It's April 27th. We will have tables from environmental and community organizations, along with kids and adult activities, and a non-denominational service honoring the Earth. If you'd like to help, we could use some volunteers, or if you have suggestions for other groups that might like to take part, contact Joe Morris for that, please. Our Tikkun Olam team is now getting ready to collect for the Ronald McDonald House. That will be all of March. That's toiletries, Julia? A variety of things. Okay, if you'd like to learn more about it, talk to Robin after the service. But they'll be doing that the entire month of March. The men's group did not meet last Sunday because of the weather. We're working on rescheduling. It's a really interesting topic. That was the one where our congregant and member of our choir, Dave Cohen, who fell at a Buffalo Philharmonic concert, and someone saved his life with CPR. And Craig Small was at the Rolling Stones concert in Cleveland, and he gave CPR to someone and saved his life. And Craig learned CPR from Dr. Iris Danziger, who taught it here in town, and she will be part of this meeting as well to talk about CPR. So we're trying to reschedule it. With the 3 schedules, it's kind of complicated, but we're working on that. We're going to be having a murder mystery dinner theater on Saturday, April 26th, performed by Western New York Improv. The evening will include a buffet, wine, beer, and dessert. The Cantor has organized that, and it should be a lot of fun. As I understand it, your code word to get into the sanctuary that night is, "The rabbi sent me." So, and I think I may be the victim. From what I understand, they're telling me I may be the victim of that night. Well, you never know. I'm giving out ideas. Purim is coming March 13th. We're having our Purim Spiel. This year it's wicked, and it's a hoot and a half. We have a cast of about, 7,000 people, and we could always use a few more. And that will be the night that we have the grand prize drawings of the Chai Club, $180, $360, $540. And Joanne will be up here momentarily to do tonight's weekly drawing of 18, 36, and 54. If you need anything at all, please feel free to reach out to Joanne or Todd or the rabbi or the cantor. Not the cantor this week, she's on vacation. Just call Joanne. If you need anything, just call Joanne. And Shabbat Shalom, and I'll see you at the Oneg. Robin, how did I do?
It was. 6 minutes? Oh, I like it. They're actually getting him down. Wow. Look at that. All right, here we go. It's not really his fault. We just have too many things going on. All right, for number 18, what do we have? Harvey is our picker. We have Marina Finkelstein. Great. $18. We need a drum roll or something. Here we go. And for $36, we have Ronnie DeBrowen. Okay, perfect. Thank you. For $54, triple high.
Two of them stuck together.
We didn't know what you were getting into, Harvey. It was a sticker, that's why. Oh, I can't read this. Let me see. I gotta go. It's like a tiny mail thing here. For 54, we have Dana DiBernardo. Wonderful. Oh, and Pam. Pam and Dana. Awesome. Wonderful. All right, we are heading to the end of our service. We have Adon Olam, page 625.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, V'yacharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yeh B'tifara, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, V'hu Echad, V'ein Sheni, L'hamshilo L'hachbira, B'li Reshit, B'li Tachlit, V'lo ha'oz v'ha'misra, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, V'hu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'sorchev Li V'yetzara, V'hu Nisi, Umanosli, Menat Kosi, V'yom Mekra, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, V'yado Afkid Ruchi, V'yeti Shan V'ya'ira, V'im Ruchi K'v'yati, Adonai li v'lo ira. Last time, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. As you came in peace, please leave in peace, and please return your prayer books to the front of the sanctuary, minus the leaflet, and enjoy our own egg. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
ever seen that